Viewer discretion advised.
Is this thing on? Can you hear me? Am I live or is it Memorex? Hello? Crickets.
You're killing me.
Is there anybody out there?
Come out, wherever you
My
are.
Pink Floyd karaoke here. Good morning. I'll be here all week. Don't forget to tip your waitresses. And Sheba hears it. That makes one. I think we're good to go. Good morning, everybody. What a crowd. All the 3,000. No, make that three of you. That's all right. We'll have a show. I was thinking it was just going to be Band Sheba there for a while. Good morning. Welcome to Talk Radio Z with hosts me and Unicorp's Tales, Tanya Jones. Tanya, get on up here on stage with me.
Good morning, Z-Horde family. How are we all today?
Hi, everybody. Pet Fox Arts, glad to have you with us. Band Sheba and Jelly Duck 100. Good morning.
Hey, guys. Thank you for joining us.
And Tanya's unable to see the chat, so I'll have to kind of relay any messages for her. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, I'll be sure and pass them on.
Thank you for that, Steve. We have a very interesting show today.
We do?
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah, we do.
Yeah, we do.
Band Sheba saying she's going on 36 hours, no sleep. I'm just past 24, so it's going to be a fun ride.
Girl, you are hardcore. How are you doing it? I have less than 6 hours. I'm a bear with a sore head.
I was talking to Cisco Murdoch this morning before we came on. She's frantically writing part 4, Cabin, the secret of the mystery Cabin 20, the Cabin 22 story that's on my channel. The title of it there. Always get stuck on Cisco's titles. But anyway, she was up early writing, and she said that her husband and son had been making coffee for her and pushing it toward her with a stick and running. So apparently you don't want to get around her if she hadn't had a lot of sleep and no coffee either.
I'm definitely looking forward to that, though.
Yeah, that series is doing well, and she's writing that on the fly. She's making that up as she goes along.
Yeah.
She hasn't plotted it out. She's just writing it, and the characters are kind of dictating what happens, and that's an interesting way to write. Great trick if you can do it, and she's doing it.
Yeah, sure is. She's on fire.
And each episode gets a little longer. Like the very first, the cabin, I think it was about 10, 15 minutes long. Well, that ended up being a prequel. And then part 1 of the Cabin 22 series that sprang from that, it was about half an hour. The next one was 35 minutes. Part 3 was over an hour long. And if I understood her correctly, part 4 is going to be just as long or longer. So looking forward to that. Shout out to Cisco if she's listening somewhere. I don't think she's in the chat. Hey, we got Nightbot in the house.
Hey, Nightbot.
Watch out for Nightbot. He can go, he says no personal attacks there, and then he attacks people. Well, how about that?
Awesome.
Streamlabs logo. There's a Tanya. How are you doing today? How are things in the UK?
Miserable.
Oh, no. Sorry to hear that. The weather or just in general? Or?
No, it's weather-wise. It's absolutely chucking it down with rain here. But I've spent some of the afternoon putting my Halloween decorations up.
Oh, that's always fun. I'd leave mine up. Some people do that with their Christmas decorations. I do it with my Halloween stuff.
Yeah.
When I moved here, as soon as it came off the truck, I just started hanging it up, and that's where it stays. So you got anything new and different this year?
Yeah, I've got lots of new stuff. New lights that I've put all the way around my singing room. The skull that I put up on Twitter. I don't know if anybody did actually see that, but I put like a small video up on Twitter. There's this light up skull that I have, and it has like 3 different settings that you can have a white light, a blue light, or it can flash all different kinds of lights. And
Yeah,
it's
I
just so
saw that,
awesome.
and if I memory serves correct, your kids got that for you, right?
Yeah, they did with my
Isn't
stepdad. Yeah.
that amazing? Kids pick
But
up on
yeah.
things like that. They know what's like, I always want to please mommy, so that way when they do something, remember the present I gave you?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, Miss Stereo
And
said,
they hold me to that ransom every single time. It's like, "Oh, remember when
Miss
we did
Stereo
this?"
said she's leaving us alone for a few minutes while she go grab some coffee. So while the
Yeah,
cat's
no,
away,
you
the
go get
mouse
that
will
coffee,
play. If
girl.
you're going to do something naughty, now is the time to do it.
Absolutely. Go get your fuel. Mind fuel.
She didn't go too far. I can hear her giggling in my ear. So
Yeah, I've
I'm,
sort of got a
I'm
little giggle there too.
yeah, I'm just in a silly mood today. And man, she was yelling booty. I'm not sure what that's all about. Are you a pirate or something else going on there? Man? Oh, I see. Like she won some money in there in the
Cool.
game or whatever she's playing there. And we'll go ahead and say hi to Dezombified since they're in the chat, and the little
Yeah.
automated
Most
Streamlabs thing. That
importantly,
way we've
hello
got
to
everybody
Dezombified.
covered. We don't judge you. Animal, mineral, vegetable, or machine. You're welcome here in our stream. Hey, that rhymed.
Absolutely. We are one just great big happy family.
Dr. Seuss is on the loose. All right. Well, you want to go ahead and get started here, Tanya? We were talking last night trying to figure out. We didn't have a guest for today. This was kind of I'd misunderstood the new schedule. I thought it was just going to be Wednesday and Friday this week. I didn't realize it was Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and I didn't know there was a show today until about around midnight or so last night, Pacific time. And so I got a hold of Tanya. We decided I'd done a video recently on my channel called Dreaming of the Dead, where I talked about precognitive dreams that I'd had, where I dreamed somebody had died only to wake up and find out that they had, or in one case it was delayed by a few weeks or months, whatever it was there. And we decided to kind of take that and run with it today. One thing I found out from having that video, some of the comments and from some of the people in the chat during the premiere, it's a common thing. A lot of different people even there and even have contacted me in Messenger and Twitter DMs and said, the same thing happened to me.
It's a lot more common than what we realize.
And it always makes you wonder, is that some kind of ability that we've had that we've kind of lost through technology and telecommunications and things that have shrunk the distances between us? Was there a time when we were far-flung in different corners of the earth when we needed that way to transmit thoughts to one another about things that had happened or that were going to happen?
It's certainly the way it's had me thinking about it, and just come across this article alone, the anatomy of sorry, I can't even say it. Can you finish that off for me, Steve?
Let's see, which article was that? The last one you sent me?
Precognitive dreams.
Precognitive. Yeah, I stumble with that too. That's almost like a Cisco Murdoch title there. I'm just kidding. I always trip up on her book title. We are all children in the wilderness of the afterlife, a guided tour through a haunted life. I got it.
Yeah.
I said the other day a haunted tour through a guided life when I was talking about it on my show.
Yeah, I was the same when I interviewed you both. On the show. I was trying to say the title. I was like,
very descriptive, but it's a tongue twister. I can't have to think of it or have it in front of me, and then I can do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, the article there that you dug up, excellent research there on
the anatomy of precognitive dream. And the bullet points that it's mostly referring to is symbolic precognitive dream, literal precognitive dream, third person precognitive dream, and lucid precognitive dream. And symbolic dream symbolism abstracts the precognitive information and generally is not realized up until the actual event. This can be a very difficult time of dream to identify as a type of precognitive dream. However, certain symbols in the dream can match or greatly exaggerate the future event when it actualizes. The accuracy and quality of this type of dream should be considered a low-grade type of precognition.
And I can kind of understand the point that they're making there. It's always easy to connect the dots in reverse. You can
Yeah.
dream about something, and then depending on how you interpret it, like, okay, that's what I was dreaming about. Sometimes it's clear cut when, a dream that somebody died is a dream that somebody died. There's no um, factoring in, your own symbolism or anything there. That's pretty straightforward.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it kind of, what you were saying before, it does make you think that, was this a time how, we all communicated? I mean, there's not just the pregnotic dream that's considered. You have things like out-of-body experiences.
Mhm.
And it makes you wonder, were these things at some point in time, were these things connected as a way of communication, as a way of visitation?
Yeah,
Uh,
that's what I was referring to earlier, like some kind of ability that we've had that we've lost, like how birds will nest in the same places every year, year after year, and they
Mhm.
always find their way back without any kind of GPS system.
Yeah,
And
yeah, no, it's exactly right. And as you were saying, the things that happened over time that make more and more people less and less aware of, you're capable of this. This is possible. It's possible that you know we're all able to tell the future in some sort of way, be it through a dream or a conscious vision or anything like that. It all reverts back to, was there a time where all of this happened and it was a way that, we all communicated?
the only thing that's really ever bothered me about it is how selective it can be. I mean,
Yeah.
I had in the story that I narrated there, one of my stories out of my book, My Strange World, is about my little cousin that had died.
Yeah.
I'll briefly run through it for anybody that hadn't heard the video. I had got up one morning, had breakfast, and was just kind of bored. It was summertime. It was hot outside, air conditioned inside already. It was before noon. And I just kind of laid down on the couch and fell back asleep. Well, while I was laying there, I suddenly was in this dream where everything was just black. I mean, total
Yeah.
blackness. I was surrounded by it. And in the dream, I'm thinking, must be what it's like to be in a coffin.
Yeah.
And and then I noticed I could hear like people talking very quietly, very lowly in the background. And I heard instrumental music. I could smell flowers. And suddenly I realized I'm in a funeral home. And first I thought I was dead and that I was gonna die, that it was that sort of precognition, and Bathsheba was saying there in the chat that she
Yeah.
saw her own death and not the date or anything, but, observed her own funeral.
Oh my
But
gosh.
anyway, well, I'm still asleep, I'm dreaming all this, it's
Mhm.
going on. The phone rings and wakes me up. My mom gets the phone, and I'm still groggy and trying to come to, and I hear her start just sobbing. And I go in there and she tells me that my cousin, they called him Little Harry. Little Harry
Yeah.
had died, and I knew that somebody had died before the phone ever rang. It turned out it was him. Like I said, I was thinking, "No, this is my funeral. What's going on?"
Yeah, that goes straight into what the next bullet point is, which is a literal precognitive dream, which is, that's the exact kind of dream what you've had. It's not a case of deja vu, but it is a case of deja. It's a case of deja vu,
Mhm.
where it's not a memory, but it's something that is going to happen in the present. And it's literal precognitive dream. From a first person view, this type of precognitive dream in literal detail, what you sense, think, and feel in the dream can actualize in the future tense, in the present. When the dream actualizes, this dream can bring about the deja vu aura. However, linked to the memory of the deja to a dream is what classifies this type of dream as a deja vu.
And I've always like you hear deja vu a lot more than you do deja vu, but I love both those terms and
Yeah.
the way they're kind of the same thing yet very different.
Yeah,
Fascinating
one
subject
is
there.
referring to a memory that's in your
Memory.
subconscious.
The other's a dream.
Exactly. The other one is mere future or present dream.
Had a couple people come in here. Demented Maniac, how are you doing this morning, D? Good to see you.
Hey, the
And
Nymphomaniac.
Nina Love, how are you doing? Welcome, welcome. Come in. We're talking
Hi, Nina Love. Thank you for
precognition
joining us,
today,
guys.
specifically precognitive dreams. And
Mhm.
so far, Bansheba's talked about one that she had, and Pat Fox Arts is talking about lucid dreamings there, and I've had some of the lucid stuff where you can kind of control the dream and you know what's going on and you know you're dreaming. But
Yeah.
then I've also had things that I thought was a lucid dream and then sort of abruptly turned into sleep paralysis, which is another bugbear altogether.
Yeah.
Where I realized I was dreaming and couldn't wake up because I felt like I was
Mhm.
pinned down, like there was something sitting on me.
Yeah.
And haven't had that in a long time, but I had sleep paralysis often as a child. It was very frightening.
I can imagine. Gosh. But yeah, no, it's a it's exactly right. I mean, that again itself is referred to as lucid I'm sorry, precognitive dream. I keep getting tongue-tied on that word. I'm so sorry.
No worries. Let's see what Bansheba's got some interesting conversation going on here. So this is how I describe dreams. Through the day, your subconscious picks up two bits of information. You go on about your day doing what you do. At night, you go to bed, your brain defrags. Those tidbits of information, your brain tries to put that into the rest of your thoughts and make some kind of sense out of it. That's where the symbolic part of dreams come through. That's a good theory there, I
Yeah,
think,
no. Well,
Sheba.
in all honesty, it's actually a good fact
Mhm.
because that is where the majority of dreams are generated from. It's stuff that you go through on a daily basis. It's things that you see. You might not see it on a regular basis. You might see it on a regular basis, but it will always be there in your subconscious, and it will mix together and create. It could create like a really really weird dream, or it could create a blissful dream, but it will all be orientated around things that you experience. But when it comes to precognitive dreaming, it will be what you're about to experience also.
Amazing. And Pet Fox Art saying
No,
that
that was awesome, Bamshiba. Thank you for that.
uh, does, she doesn't get they don't get sleep paralysis, maybe because they don't dream. And I've known people that had such frightening nightmares that they were put on medication that would prevent dreaming. I always found that interesting. I've had some scary dreams, but I kind of enjoy them. Not necessarily the precognitive ones; those are
Yeah.
no fun. Another one I talked about in that story, I had just gone to sleep and I'd actually gone to bed early for once. So,
Mhm.
like I said in the book, that should have been a hint that something strange was about to happen. I just
Yeah.
fall asleep, and I don't go through different stages of sleep like most people do.
Mhm.
As soon as I hit the pillow, usually I go right into REM sleep. I'm dreaming sometimes before I'm even completely asleep.
Yeah.
And in this particular dream, suddenly I could see a construction site. And I knew it was in the south somewhere because I could see a lot of the red dirt, the red clay mud that we have down there.
Mhm.
Excuse me. And see people running around, with their boots and their jeans and their flannel shirts and little construction hats, and everybody's busy and got something that they need to be doing and doing it in a hurry. And I noticed there's a little pyramid there, or not a little pyramid, but a big pyramid of
Mhm.
concrete drainage pipe. And these are huge pipes. They're about 3 feet across, and they're stacked. I think it was probably 3 levels high, like
Yeah.
3 on the bottom, and then 2, and then 1 on top to make a little pyramid. And in the dream, I'm thinking, that doesn't look safe, that
Mhm.
could that they could collapse and roll in. About
Yeah.
the time I thought that in the dream, there's a guy walking by. Sure enough, the pipe pyramid collapses, and one rolls over this guy. It's one of the most graphic
Yeah.
things I've ever seen in a dream. I mean, it mashed him like a
Wow.
grape, and the pipes continued on down the hill and came to rest against a piece of construction machinery, like a, I
Did you
think it
say
was
that
a Cat
this
D9
dream?
dozer or something. What's that?
Sorry, did you say that this dream was occurring before you was actually like in a full sleep?
Probably. I mean, I have that happen often, all the time. As soon as I start to
Yeah,
go
you
to
see,
sleep,
that's
I'm
another
already
example
dreaming.
of lucid precognitive dreaming as well, because it's you're awake and you realize that you are actually dreaming.
Yeah, I have that happen a lot.
Mhm.
I won't even really realize that I'm asleep until I notice, "Hey, I'm dreaming. I must be asleep."
Yeah,
At that time, yeah, the pipe rolls over this guy, mashes him, and it was bloody and gory and just awful. And
yeah.
I woke up in a start, and my girlfriend at the time was like, "Are you okay? You look like you've seen a ghost." And I actually said, "Worse. I've just seen someone become one."
Yeah.
And, it was just, it was because it was so real and just the detail was amazing. It was like that type of lucid dreaming where you can pick up on every little thing. I mean, the sights, the
Very
smells,
vivid.
I could hear the traffic in the background, I could feel the wind. But
Yeah.
the only thing about it, I didn't really know where it was other than that clue with the red mud, and that's all throughout, North Florida, Georgia, Alabama, Mississippi, on up into
Mhm.
Tennessee, parts of Kentucky. You have that everywhere. I mean, a
Yeah.
multi-state area, so it wasn't in a way that I could, ring up the construction foreman on a certain site and say, "Hey,
Yeah.
secure those pipes because you're liable to kill somebody." But it was a disturbing dream, and it stayed with me. And I think it was about 3 weeks later, I saw an article in the local paper. I was living in Knoxville at the time,
Mhm.
Knoxville, Tennessee, and I saw a thing in the paper where in Kingsport, exactly what I had dreamed had happened on a construction site. A
Oh
pyramid of
God.
pipes had that wasn't secured had broken loose, one rolled over a guy and killed him. And that
Oh
just,
God.
it gutted me because, like, I knew
Yeah.
about it and plenty of time to prevent it. And I agonized over that for a long time. It really, really stayed with me.
I
The
can
same
imagine. Oh,
as
bless
the
you.
dream where my cousin had died, that one, granted, by the time I had the dream, he'd already been dead for days, they just hadn't found him yet.
Yeah.
But this one, I knew it ahead of time enough that it could have been prevented, and I was sitting and just thinking about that and meditating on it, and it just kinda I had an epiphany that sometimes things are just gonna be what they are, and as much as you'd like to, you can't necessarily or shouldn't necessarily change things or try to change it. Some things just are, and I used the quote in
Absolutely.
there from Einstein about God does not roll dice. It is what it is
Yeah.
sometimes, and if I had prevented it, something else might have happened, or it would have rolled over somebody else, or a bulldozer would have backed over the guy. It was just his time to go, apparently.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I kind of see it the same way. It's things happen for a reason, and yeah, these things do happen for a reason. And like you said, if you were able to, prevent that in any way, like they say, it's like when you try and change something, it can it can open a door for something and a possibility for much worse
Like
things
that
to
film, The
happen.
Butterfly Effect, where
Yeah,
something so small, when altered, it can affect so many different things in the future for
absolutely. Yeah,
different people. It's just a domino effect there, a chain reaction.
yeah, but it can catch you unaware of that as well. Because you have situations where yeah, you will dive at trying to prevent the situation without being aware of what the repercussion could be after that. But it leaves you in a catch-22 situation. It's like, do you or don't you?
Mhm.
Could something worse happen after it, or could it be happily ever after if you prevented it?
And, a lot of times, like, if there's been an unsolved murder, and they won't readily admit this in public, but the police will listen to psychics and people that
Yeah,
have prophetic dreams and things to just check that out, even though Cisco and I know of a lady that had some kind of ability there. She knew where a body was, led the police to it, and then they took her in and, grilled her with questions for about 12 hours to try to tie her into the murder.
yeah,
So, that could be
and that's
iffy.
another point that's here, which is third person precognitive dream.
Mhm.
From a third-person vantage point, this type of precognitive dream can take on both symbolic and literal similarities. However, does not suggest that the information being observed will occur from a first-person point of view. Is that related? So, like you were referring to, the police going to such people as psychics, for their readings, is this down to them having precognitive dreams?
Yeah, because even there's been cases where they have led people to a body that
Yeah,
they had no prior knowledge of, that they weren't involved with, and I understand they have their due diligence, because if you know where a body's at and you can't really explain how, that does look kind of fishy. But
yeah.
apparently she eventually
And
convinced them that.
I know that you get the shows out there these days where, they'll depict that kind of situation, but they'll make it look like, the psychic was a fraud. But in all honesty, no. It's real, it happens, and real murder cases have been solved
Mhm.
by these psychics coming in and giving them the information that they have without having any knowledge of it prior.
Yeah, and there's certain ones that have a very high rate of success, and
Yeah,
yet they still can't explain the times that they're off, or they'll be off just a little bit or whatever. I don't think anybody can bat 1,000% all the time, but
no.
there's gonna be little lapses there, or different ways that they've interpreted the right
Yeah.
way or the wrong way. But, it's still fascinating, and the same thing with the airlines. They have, if you go on the airline's website, somewhere on there, they'll have a number that if you've had a dream or anything about a plane,
Mhm.
you can call, and there's a live person that you can talk to. They'll take down any information that you remember from that dream, like, the place, flight number, a tail number, anything that you can remember, the colors on the plane, stuff that identifies maybe a certain flight, and they kinda take that seriously.
Yeah.
And again, that's due diligence. Why would you not? I mean,
Well,
This it
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 is
might
serious.
result in an extra check where they would find something wrong, that there would have been an air disaster.
Yeah.
So, again, the due diligence there.
No, I'm in full agreement. I mean, if they didn't do these kind of things, there could be so much that could be missed. Things could be happening, they could be carrying on happening, and without people doing things like this and not hearing about it, not being able to piece things together, things may never be solved.
And I just wanna say I got a playback error there on my screen. If you get that and you can still hear me, just refresh the screen, reload the browser, seems to have taken care of it. While we were talking there, we had King King, can't talk this morning, King Galliant come in. Welcome, King. Thanks for coming in.
Hi, King Callie, and thank you for joining us.
And another one that I know of, and this is an odd one, I've never written about this one, but it's kind of a cross between a lucid dream where there was some control and a prophetic or precognitive dream,
Mhm.
and she wasn't even really sure 100% that it was a dream and that it might have been an actual visitation. The girl that I grew up with, she lived up the street.
Mhm.
She was older than I was, probably 5 or 6 years, but I knew her by sight. I would see her around, and she would always kinda hang back. There were other girls about the same age, and then some guys about the same age, and then me and my friend, we were like the youngest, but he had 3 older sisters, and they all hung out together, and we just kinda hung around on the periphery of that bunch.
Yeah.
And there was this one girl, and I thought she was just shy. She always hung out. She was always withdrawn and reserved. Well, I ran into her years and years later. I was probably in my 20s, and she would have been probably early 30s or something.
Mhm.
And I was like, you used to be so shy and wouldn't have anything to do with the rest of us. And when she told me this story, it blew me away. She said, I wasn't shy. I was dealing with something that only now can I really talk about, and it's taken years and years of therapy. But when she was about 12 years old,
Mhm.
she had what she believes was a dream. She wants to believe it was a dream, where she was visited by the Grim Reaper, although it wasn't done up like the Grim Reaper. It was just
Yeah.
a black figure that identified itself as death. And she saw this figure in the dream in her room, and she's like, "Who are you?" And she said he spoke almost like in a Dickinson manner, "I am death, and I have come to take you." And she
Okay.
just, being a kid, she's like, "No, don't take me. I'm too
Yeah.
young." And then this dark figure says, "All right then, who shall I take, child?" And she said she just blurted out, "Take my grandpa. He's old." And
Oh.
then the figure says, "Very well, it is done," and then it just kinda fades away, and she wakes up, she's scared to death. Well, sure enough, the next morning, she finds out that her grandpa had passed during the night,
Oh
and she
gosh.
always thought that she was responsible for it, that she told
Oh,
this dark figure,
can
"No,
you
don't take me,
imagine?
take my grandpa." So she lived with that fear and regret and didn't talk to parents, sisters, anything about it, and lived
Oh,
with that
bless
all
her
through her
heart.
childhood. And had gone through years of therapy was even the reason she could talk about it then, and she said, sometimes I'm not even sure it was a dream, so it might have been a visitation, and maybe I just told myself it was a dream to kinda lessen the severity of it. She's like, "I grew up thinking that I killed my grandpa or that indirectly." So
Oh, that is
that's kind of
heartbreaking.
amazing. If it was a dream, it was kind of a lucid dream because
Yeah.
she was interacting and had control, sort of, with this
Yeah.
figure. But that's one of the most frightening stories I've ever heard.
It's kind of heartbreaking also.
It is, it really is, and, looking back, that's why she appeared shy and
Yeah.
withdrawn and didn't want to do anything with anybody. She's 12, 13, 14 years old on up thinking, "I killed my grandfather." She lived with that every day, and it just ate at her and ate at her and ate at her. Later on, she had problems with drugs and alcohol and things just as a means of escape.
Oh,
And then
bless.
finally, once she got into therapy, and luckily the therapist that, she hooked up with had a belief in the metaphysical and
Mhm.
just kinda help her sort things out.
I
And
think it does help a lot when I've experienced it myself when you need help like that and you get in with a good therapist and your therapist can work on a great level with you. It helps in so many ways and it helps you come to terms with so much. I'm glad that, she was able to work through all of that with
yeah,
her
but then
therapist.
and then you just feel sorry knowing that from the
Yeah.
age of 12 or whenever it happened all the way up into her 20s, that
I
she was
can't even
just
begin to imagine
devastated
the horror she was going
and
through.
just the regret. She said, "I thought about it from the moment I woke up in the morning till I went to bed at night, and then I would dream about it again."
Mm.
And in the dream, it would play out, and she would always do the same thing and always end up killing her grandfather.
Oh gosh, bless her.
Wanna welcome
That's
One Evil Vitch, and, Andy, I'm assuming
Hey,
that's you.
Andy.
You've done a name change there, apparently. That one's a little bit easier to say and remember, but I like it either way. You'll always be our favorite Evil Vitch.
Absolutely. Much love to you, Han. Thank you for joining us.
And, she's one of our biggest fans and supporters. It
Yeah,
is
she's a
Andy.
hype girl.
Yeah, she is our hype girl. She tweets everything out, shares everything out, always has something great to say, and, she's just a
Absolutely.
great person all around. Cage Misery, welcome, come on in.
Hey, Cage Misery. Thank you for joining us.
And my lovely and talented other host here, she can't see the chat this morning, so I'm kinda passing things off to her that way. If you have any questions or anything for Tanya, Unicorp's Tale specifically,
Mhm.
let me know, and I'll be glad to parrot them to her. But we're glad y'all could join us this morning. We're having a big time. We didn't really know there was gonna be a show today until just a few hours before, and we weren't really prepared. This is just kind of our off the cuff.
Yeah,
We got
we're sticking
together
for a
and
good though.
talked last night, brainstormed a little bit, and this is what we
Mhm.
decided to do. And I'm glad we did this. I'm having a good
Yeah.
time and interesting to hear other people here. For those of you just coming in, we're talking premonitions, precognition, lucid dreaming. Can dreams predict the future? Can you change things that you dream about? There's all kinds of different ways that could go.
Yeah, absolutely. You guys let us know in the chat if there are any experiences that you have had or that people have had. We'd love to hear about them. Me personally, every single bit of it that I read about, I hear about, is fascinating to me. And me and you will talk about it this morning, Steve. One of the problems that I actually have is I don't remember what I dream. I would love to be able to remember what I dream, but because of medication that I'm on, and for the length of time I've been on medication, is I can remember the dream like as soon as I'm awake, but then a little while after it's all completely gone, and I can sit there, I can rattle through it all, I can really try and work through my head to remember it all, but it's just not there. I draw a blank every time, and
Mhm.
it's
And I found that some dreams stick with me more than others, or parts of certain dreams. I can remember a dream that I had as a child where there was used to be a character in Superman comic books, and I think his name was Metamorpho, and he
Mhm.
was like made up of several different parts, and he could change into all these things.
Yeah.
And in this dream, I ran over him accidentally in a creek and killed him with my big wheel. So, so I would have been all like 4 or 5 years old when I dreamed that. For some
Yeah.
reason, I can still see that in my head and know that we wasn't precognitive. I didn't run over Metamorpho with my big wheel. And another one that's always stuck with me. I used to have a bad habit when I was real small. I liked to take my toys apart to see how they worked, but then I didn't like the ability to put them back together. And my
Yeah.
mom would kind of chide me on that, and she said, "You know, those toys are gonna like come together and get you for that." And then I dreamed that night that I heard something in my bedroom, and I looked down the hallway, and here comes this little monster about 3 or 4 feet tall, and it's made out of parts of my toys. And it
Holy
scared me so
crap.
bad. Of course, that was pre-suggestion from my mother. That's
Yeah.
why I dreamed it. But it was, I mean, I could see the different parts of things I'd taken apart. They had reassembled themselves. I mean, this was a transformer years and years and years before there was any such thing. And here it comes. It's walking down the hall and it's coming to get me. And that's
At that age, that's gonna be scary.
it was very frightening.
I
And
bet.
that one has stayed with me. Don Sharp, good morning. Don, one of my East Tennessee homeboys. Glad to have you with
Hey,
us
Don
this
Sharp,
morning.
thank you for joining.
And then there's been other dreams that were precognitive that wasn't about anything in particular, where I would dream something and it would come true, but it wasn't earth shattering or it wasn't devastating or about a disaster or anything. And then likewise, I've had some dreams that I thought were precognitive that haven't happened yet. And Cisco and I kind of do that. I'll hit her up with some of my dreams, and there's one in her book, our book that she and I just wrote. She did most of the writing, the heavy lifting. I just did the color commentary on it. But there's a chapter in there called "A Tale of Two Bikers," and my half of that is based on a dream I had where I thought I knew where a body was. In this dream, I had found where there had been a motorcycle wreck,
Mhm.
and where it was, you couldn't see the motorcycle because it had gone over the bank, and the guy had crawled up under a tree and died and was basically a rotting skeleton in my dream.
Gosh.
And I called her up and I'm like, Cisco, I think I know where there's a body.
Mm.
And she's like, what have you done? I'm like, no, no, no. It was a dream. She's like, I need to get a shovel. I'm like, no, 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 nothing like that.
Trust this guy.
I'll joke with her
If
now.
you can hear this, I love you, girl.
I'll be like, Cisco, I need your help. And she's like, what is it? I'm like, they found the bodies. And she's like, what? And I'm like, no, I'm kidding.
Yeah.
But in this dream, I kept having a dream. It was a recurring dream. And that's something my grandmother, the self-professed gypsy witch, would
Mhm.
tell me, that if you dreamed about something more than once in particular, 3 times or more, to pay attention to it, that's something trying to tell you something.
Mhm.
So I dreamed this 3 times, and I got a hold of Cisco, and she's like, you know, "I'm on it," and she knew somebody that specializes in such things. I guess the person, I don't know that you would call her a psychic, but she's some kinda empath or intuitive.
Yep.
And Cisco and I, because I could see the area where it happened, there was a brick smokestack, and I think that had to do with probably a brick making plant, because most of the places in the South that had, brick smokestacks are long gone, they've been replaced with something else. And it was like an abandoned area, an industrial area, and I could see all this. There was a river there and cedar trees and an old road that had been disused. The pavement was cracked and there was weeds and things growing up
Dude,
the ice
are
through.
you sure you shouldn't have been a psychic detective?
Well, the thing was, there wasn't really a body per se, apparently,
Yeah.
and this is according to the lady that Cisco got involved in. I just kind of stepped back. But like I said, Cisco and I were going through Google Maps.
Mhm.
I found the motorcycle with the same color scheme, found out the type and model motorcycle it was. It was actually a kind of rare Kawasaki that was only made
Yeah.
for a short time back in the 70s with that
Uh-huh.
particular paint scheme. And it was like half buried, and every time I dream it, a little more dirt had fallen down on the motorcycle to where it was almost covered, and the rotting corpse would be a little less there. And so she got a hold of this lady, and what they found out, and this again is according to their research and stuff, when Cisco contacts the lady, the first thing out of her mouth, without hearing any of it, was, "You guys stop looking for the motorcycle. That's not what it's all about."
Yeah.
And according to her, it was just kind of a planted dream to get
Mhm.
my attention because this person needed help, and according to them, it was a spirit that needed to cross over but couldn't
Oh,
because he was ashamed of things that he had done in life, and he didn't want to disappoint his mother, and all this really long thing, though. This is what the other lady came up with, and they were able to, according to them, help this guy cross over to the other side successfully when he realized that his mother had passed away in the interim, and she
okay.
actually his mother came in and took him with her. So,
Oh,
the odd story, if you get a chance, read it.
yeah,
It
definitely.
the whole book is interesting, but that one part, just the way it was dealt with, and I was happy to be out of it, and I quit having the dreams, and it was disturbing, to continue to dream the same thing over and over like that, and it got a little worse each time. And there's a lot more detail there that's in the book that I won't go
Mm.
into this morning, but it's
No,
fascinating and entirely
definitely.
true
Everybody
in my
in
part.
the
And
chat, if you get a chance to go and have a look at that story, go check out that story, go have a read. Definitely, it 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 sounds it
and
sounds
then
so awesome in a
yeah,
way.
and there's
You know?
another one in that. So I mean, it's the tale of two bikers. The other one's
Mhm.
Cisco's tale of a supernatural paranormal thing that happened with another biker. And that's a very interesting, creepy, yet very touching, bittersweet story that she's got in there. And another one that I had, and this only been about a year or so ago, I got a hold of Cisco on this one, and it was another one of those where I was just falling asleep, and all of a sudden I saw this, like I was in a helicopter viewing it from the air. It was a cruise ship that, for whatever reason, had either been bombed or something on it had exploded. It was
Yeah,
blown mostly to bits. The upper decks were completely obliterated. It was on fire, it was smoking. There was parts in the water, there was people floating in the water, some of them alive, some of them not. There was luggage and just all this stuff in the water, and that was another one of
wow,
those where I just sat up and went, "Whoa." So I called
yeah,
her, and we've been watching the papers, and for over a year, that one has yet to come to
mhm,
any type of reality, and I hope it doesn't. And,
yeah.
it
Touch
kinda
wood.
makes you wonder, sometimes maybe that could have been a precognition that something that
Yeah,
could have happened, and for whatever reasons, although no intervention on my part because I couldn't see even the registry or any flag or anything so that
yeah,
I could identify what cruise line it was, but, I think sometimes things are gonna happen, and for whatever reason, then they don't. So
yeah.
you had a precognition of something that could have happened, or it was just a crazy dream. Who knows?
Who knows?
There are no hard, fast rules in any of this really,
Absolutely.
but anytime I have any kind of dream that I feel
Mm,
the least bit might have something to do with something, Cisco's usually who I go to because
yeah.
she knows people. She's well connected in those realms. She goes to a lot of these psychic fairs and, sells her jewelry and stuff. If you've never seen her jewelry, it's amazing. It's,
Awesome.
Cisco's, wickedly wearable. I'm gonna mess this one up too. She takes like things like crystals and copper and brass wire and encapsulates the crystals. It's beautiful stuff. You can find her on Facebook.
Awesome.
Cisco's wickedly
Sorry,
wearable
Steve.
wired art. There, I got it out. Cisco to her alliteration, but I love that with all the W's there.
Unfortunately, Steve, I have to go.
Oh. Always hate to see you go, but I know it's
I know.
for your kids, and we've actually run you a little over time. I hope you have time to
It's
get
all
there and
right. It's
pick 'em
it's
up.
like 5 minutes down up the street, so
Well,
I'll be
thank you
okay.
for being here. Much love.
But
Give
yes,
my
to
love
my
to the
partner in crime and T13, absolutely, and everybody in the chat, much love to you all. Dezombified, much love to you guys also. Thank you all for having me on the show again. It has been awesome, Steve. I've had a
Huh?
blast.
I'm glad to have you as my partner in crime. You're the Bonnie to my Clyde.
Absolutely.
Team 13 all the way.
T13 for left, baby.
All right. You have a good day. Give our love to the kids and the dog and to Billy, the spirit that lives in her
Absolutely.
house. If you haven't seen that video, go check out Unicorp's Tales. She's got some amazing stuff on there. Tanya, thank you. It's always a pleasure. Namaste. I bow to the
My
goddess
pleasure
in
as
you.
always.
You have a good
I'm
day.
Unicorn Tales, aka Tanya Jones, and I'm out of here. Much love, everybody.
See you later. I'll talk to you after a while.
Bye
All
now.
right, folks. I need to check and see if I can get a little whisper in my ear here. Do we have another show coming up against this one? Are we backing into another show here? Or is it just us today? Okay. We're getting confirmation here. Sometimes Evil, Outcast, and Felia's show is right after mine. So I don't want to step on any toes there, because if they're after me, I just have an hour and we're already beyond that. I don't see either one of them in the chat. Usually they're already here if they're gonna. Okay, they're saying take your time, do your thing. All right. I like to hear that. So usually time goes by so fast. I didn't realize it'd been an hour. I didn't have my phone where I could see it. And Tanya usually leaves about 8 minutes earlier than this. She'll still be able to get there and pick up her kids. But the joys of being a single parent. I had full custody of my daughter since she was 6 years old. And it's hard work, but it can be rewarding. I got to see my daughter grow up, and not a lot of dads have full custody. So I considered myself lucky. But anybody else in the chat have any precognitions? Have you had a dream that you feel may be prophetic? This would be a good place to spill the tea, as it were. Let us know. It'll be here in the chat for posterity. And then if it were to come true, there's your proof. You can go back and say, on this day, which today is the 24th of October, Wednesday or Thursday rather. I don't even know what day it is. I've been up over 24 hours at this point. But Bathsheba's got me beat, though. She's probably, up to 37 now, Bathsheba? But 1 week to Halloween. 1 week from today, this will be Halloween day. And it's going to be here before we know it. It seems like it's taken forever to get here, but then now it's going by too quick. It's like, wait, slow down. I want to enjoy it. And it's one of the few holidays that I'll celebrate all month. And this year I've been doing it with the 31 nights of Halloween. I challenged myself to release a new video every day or every night this month. So far, I've done 23. Tonight will be 24. I've got enough stockpile to do it. So I'm going to make it. It was kind of sketchy there for a while. I'm thinking, can I do this? But it's got to keep on keeping on. I've had a lot of help. I've had some good narrations. Tanya has helped me out immensely. She really is a true partner in crime. Cisco has supplied me with wonderful tales there of the mysterious Cabin 22. Got another chapter that'll either come out tonight or tomorrow, so watch for that if you're following that one. I still don't think it's the end. Based on what she's told me, there's going to be at least one more chapter after this one, and I've already convinced her she's going to turn that into a book, and then I'm going to write the screenplay. A lot of you don't know that, but I also do film work, and in fact I'm in negotiations for the film rights to my first book. It's been optioned, and we're just kind of waiting to see whether I'm going to get to write the script or what's going to go on with that. And I don't want to get too excited. I'm kind of holding my breath and crossing my eyes and fingers and knocking on wood, because it's been optioned before. The company that optioned it was an indie company. They got bought up by a bigger studio, and all the old products got shelved. So I got paid, and then in 2 years, the rights reverted back to me. But I really wanted it to be made into a movie, so we'll see what happens with that. And I'm trying to hang on for a development deal there, so I get to write the script and some more beyond. I'll keep you guys updated on that. And then Halloween night, starting actually on the 30th of November, or yeah, November, the 30th of October at 9 o'clock Pacific, which will be midnight on the East Coast. So that's when the East Coast is going into Halloween. I'm going to be live in every time zone as Halloween rolls across the country. So 9 o'clock Pacific is Eastern time zone, 10 o'clock Pacific will be Central, so on. And I'm going to be live for at least 3 hours there, and then I'm going to have a stream of my stories from my channel and some other surprises in with that. And I'll still pop in live at other times, but you don't want to miss that. The way it's set up, it will repeat the non-live parts, the pre-recorded parts, so you can kind of come in, listen in any time, and then go do other things and come back to it. And that's what I'm doing for Halloween. And thanks for all the well wishes and good luck here. Just decided I'd do something special. And then I've got some other things coming up. I'm going to take a little time off the first week in November, I think, after these really double marathons, the 31 nights and then the 24, or actually 27-hour challenge that I've put myself up there for. But appreciate you guys here in the chat. Let's go ahead and check out some merch there. Tom, if I want to put the merch up for me, I didn't do an ad the last time I was on here. I don't know if any of you guys were here yesterday, but I was late. I had some sort of glitch happen with the power. My alarm clock, not only did it go off, it was out. I flipped a breaker and I wake up, everything's dark. There's no clock. And I grabbed my phone and it's 9 minutes after 6. It went live at 6. But thankfully, Tanya, superstar Tanya, stepped up, took over the show, and her and Miss Stereo kept things going. I got on, I think about 6:15. I said a total of 6 words, and my computer restarted for an update. Now, how's that for timing? And by the time I got on, the show was almost over. I was coming in right as Tanya needed to leave to go pick up her kids, but it worked out great. I was listening on my phone and typing in the chat while I was waiting on my computer to do its thing. But take a look at that awesome Dezombified merchandise that we got up there in the Teespring store. The link will be in the chat there if I can get one of the lovely mods to pop it in there. And I think, Banshiba, you are the lovely mod today. I don't see anybody else. If you could put a link to the Teespring store. Got those wonderful Z-Horde mugs in different varieties there. Even make you a custom one like they did for Creepy Clown Girl there on the bottom, that pink one. If you don't drink coffee, you can drink whatever out of it. Tea, water, and adult libation. Or like shows there, you can put your gerbil, your hamster in it, your toothbrush, your toothpaste, flesh-eating plant. Feed me, Seymour. And right next to that, we got those incredible Dezombified stickers. Those are a lot bigger than I thought they were. When I saw people had tweeted some pictures of them, they're as big as the palm of my hand. That's the custom artwork by Yaman TV. Incredible artist there. Check him out on Twitter. And then the Z-Horde hoodies there, several different styles. There's other stuff on the store. I haven't looked at there to see what updated, but I know there are war plans that may already be there to have baby stuff and all kinds of things for everybody. So go check that out if you haven't. If you don't need any merchandise, if you don't need a hoodie or a coffee mug or a sticker, feel free to donate. The Zombified will gladly take your donation. Goes toward the show, helping improve things for everybody. Gives me a platform to come here and do what I'm doing in the mornings. I love doing this. I love sitting here with y'all. Love being here with Tanya and just chatting away with a room full of our close friends. And it all goes to make the show better in some way. And if you can't donate, do what you're doing now. Show up, come to the streams, come to the shows, smash that like button, share it with your friends. Follow us on Twitter, come to the Discord, the new website, Dezombified.com. I finally got around to checking it out last night. I've been busier than a one-armed paper hanger, but I'm finally getting some time to go in and check things out. And it's really great what they're doing over there. Oh, excuse me for coughing in everybody's ear there. I couldn't get to the mute button fast enough. I'm coughing a little dry here. Steve needs to drink a water here. All right. Thank you for that. You guys want to go ahead and I have a couple of news items here. I could go ahead and do one of those, I suppose. There was one in particular that I had fun with Tanya over because she's as much of a coffeeholic as I am. But according to The Mirror, which is a UK newspaper, something from Tanya's side of the pond there, if you could go with that news article for me there, whichever producer I'm getting to the info. Oh, now they're showing there's my poster for my Halloween thing on the website. I think myself and Gothic Rose were the first ones that they put up there promotion wise. If you've got something you want to promote, a special event, a stream that you're doing, a new video, channel trailer, whatever, send it to them. They'll help promote you. Here we go, coffee drinkers, and I'm among you. There's a good chance your tin of coffee contains ground up roaches. I don't know about you guys, but I want extra ground roaches in my little buggers of pure protein, make it a real energy drink. Seriously, though, so this might turn you off from drinking 10 pre-ground coffee beans ever again. And I saw some data one time about here in the U.S., the Department of Agriculture, the amount of stuff they allow per pound, or depending on weight, what they will allow and consider it still fit for human consumption. And it includes things like rodent hair and feces, bugs, larvae, eggs, spiders. So there's a little bit of something extra surprise in every box with something you get, whether you realize it or not. It may be ground up beyond recognition, but like I said, based on those facts and figures, I saw that the permissible levels of foreign matter, it's like everybody, the pinto beans, the dry pinto beans in the bag, and it tells you on the bag, these are an agricultural product. It can contain bad beans, rice, foreign objects. Rinse and sort your beans, rinse and sort them again. They're not kidding around. I've found gravel in there. I've found dead bugs. I've found beans that looked like they were about to grow legs and walk away. But just kind of makes you think, what am I putting in my body here? Then you counter that with all the pesticides and all the other nasty things that can be in there. That's why, as much as I can, I grow my own vegetables. That way I know what it is, I know what goes in, and I know that I've washed it and checked it for bugs. The old joke, what's worse than finding a worm in an apple? It's finding half a worm in an apple, because you've already eaten the other half. But yeah, I just thought I'd pass that along. I enjoyed ribbing Tanya with that, but you guys might enjoy it too. But cockroach coffee. And have you guys ever heard there's a very special coffee? And I want to say it comes from Africa, or it might be South America, but there is a type of, they call it a cat, but it's not like a domestic cat. It's some kind of wild animal. It's more akin to a raccoon. And there's a plant that it eats that has beans that coffee can be made out of, but it has this covering, this hull on it. Well, the animal eats this, and then once it passes through its little digestive system there and comes out the other end, they gather that up. And supposedly they, get all the poo off of it and sterilize it. And then they boil that and make supposedly some of the world's best coffee. But I don't know about you, but yeah, Pat Fox Arts knows what I'm doing. Yeah, the poop coffee. I just don't think I'm ready for that. Although I've had some at a gas station that poop would probably have been an improvement on it. I like doing my own thing. I'll get usually whatever's on sale, grind it myself there at the store. I usually get a bag of Starbucks or something like that. I like to get the whole beans and do that myself. Have an old-fashioned percolator. Anybody remember those, where you got the little canister there in the top and you put the actual beans in there, the water, and you boil it, and it perks up through the beans. If you've got time to make it, that's some of the best coffee you'll ever have. It's made in a percolator. And They're kind of hard to find. I found mine secondhand and cleaned it up real good. I think they still make them. They make electric percolators, or they did. I'm kind of out of touch here. I'm old school. I've got the newer stuff. I've got an espresso machine. It's sitting under the kitchen cabinet. I've got a Keurig machine. It's in the pantry closet. I use a regular old drip coffee maker now. And the reason I like that, when I get up, I've got my little ritual here. I start my coffee at 5 every morning. And it's kind of like the way you don't want, there's people that won't drink in the daytime alcohol. They won't drink before 5 p.m. There's 5 o'clock somewhere. They show little espresso makers. They're the ones where you make it on the stove. I've got the one with the fancy doodads and the milk frother and all that on it. Never use it. Used it a couple times and it just the new wore off. But yeah, there's all kinds of different ways, things to make coffee there to make things good. But old-fashioned percolator. But what I do with the drip machine, I put more grounds in there than I really need and a little less water than it calls for. And then when I start the machine, I take the pot out from under it and I put my cup under there. And about the first 2 or 3 inches of coffee that I catch there is either probably triple or quadruple strength. I made some so black and so strong one day I put cream in it and it didn't change color. I kid you not. I think the cream just sat on the bottom, but I thought this is some serious coffee. You drink a half a cup of that, you can see into the future. But I love my coffee. Always been that way. I drank it as a kid. My daughter was the same way. She wanted coffee as a baby and would want it in her bottle with her milk. So put a little bit of decaf in there for her. But she got onto the hard stuff, and by the time she started elementary school, she had to have her coffee in the morning, or she was, like Tanya says, a bear with a sore head. I'm the same way. Got to have my coffee in the morning. If I miss it in the morning for whatever reason, by noon, I got a headache. Imagine. And if I ignore it beyond that, I get a headache or a migraine headache from that. But that's another thing for those of you fellow migraine sufferers. You can treat it with really strong coffee, and some of those over-the-counter migraine pills works well. Tell on myself here a little bit. Necessity is the mother of invention. Sometimes in desperate times call for desperate measures. I didn't have anything to take one day, and my daughter felt so bad for me. I had such a bad, it was more like a cluster headache. Hadn't quite made it to migraine. She offered me some of her Midol, and I took it. And it turns out it's kind of the same thing that's in the migraine pills. It's anti-inflammatory in there. There's a muscle relaxer and a painkiller. So if you have a migraine, you don't have anything to take. Uh, if you're a lady, you're probably already set. Otherwise, talk to your wife, your mother, your sister, your daughter. See if they've got any Midol or even the Walmart brand. It'll set you right. If you don't have anything else, it was a godsend that day. So just a little tip there. We cover everything here on this show. Well, folks, I'm going to get ready and wrap it up today. Let me go ahead and bring Kenny and Miss Stereo out here, out the behind the scenes and into the forefront. You guys don't get to hear, but they're here in my ear, so I know what's going on, and they help me out, and they tell me, and they hit me with the different cues and things, so I know what to do. But I appreciate everything they do behind the scenes. You guys come on out and take a bow. They're on the way. They're on the elevator up now. Wait. Let me get it back and I'll have some fun with it. So you can hear me, flick your lighters and yell Freebird. All right, looks like we may be back. If you can hear me, flick your lighters and yell Freebird. Jump up and down and wave. I can see you. This is a two-way stream. Freebird in the chat. All right. And I was just bringing out Miss Stereo and Kenny Dread to come out and say hi to you guys. They're on their way here. No lighter emoji. There's not a lighter emoji, is there? Okay, Banshiba gave me a thumbs up. I thought that was something different there for just a second, Banshiba. I'm tired and my glasses are foggy. I'm like, did she just give me the finger? She did. She gave me a finger. She gave me a thumbs up. So that's Pet Fox. Sorry. Okay, well, unfortunately, Dezombified just informed me that they're not going to come out and play today. Sorry to disappoint you, but we got some technical difficulties behind the scenes. But Pet Fox Arts, I love the flame there. Freebird. If I had a guitar, I would play it and let somebody else sing it. I spent the money my mama gave me for singing lessons on comic books. They're saying good morning anyway to you, One Evilvich. I keep missing that one there, Andy. But One Evilvich saying good morning, Miss Stereo and Kenny Dreadful. I'm going to go ahead and get on out of here. There's not a show after mine, apparently, but there should be a stream coming up tonight. We got something going on tonight. Producers, if you can hear me. Oh, on the screen. There we go. I'm looking at the chat, not the screen. Like, look at the screen. Look at the screen. Tonight, got the first annual Wizard of Words battles. Tonight's battles going on. See who moves. They had kind of a little bracket thing they've got on there. This is night 4. Out of that, you're gonna see who is crowned champion for the next year. It's the battle royal. Think of it as a WWE event. That's the ways they should do it. They should hold it in a ring and allow them to hit each other while they're narrating. No, I'm just kidding. That probably wouldn't make squirt guns at 30 paces. Anyway, come tonight. Let's see what's going on in the first annual Wizard of Words battle. See who's going to be closer to taking that crown. You guys, thank you for showing up today. On behalf of the other host, Tanya Jones, Unicorp's Tales herself, and myself, Steve Stockton, aka 13 Past Midnight, I'm going to go ahead and get out of here and get some sleep. I'm on getting ready, hour 26 here. So, you guys, Banshiva, you get some sleep too, and maybe we'll have precognitive dreams of each other. But thanks for the chat today. Thanks again to everybody for showing up. Had a big time as always. Yeah, tell me take a nap, Steve. Right now, I just want me to go ahead and take a nap here, and you guys can listen to me snore. No, you wouldn't like that. It would sound as trippy as that noise we were hearing a minute ago. I'm not sure what that was. I thought we'd been attacked by aliens or a warning buzzer was going off. We're about to dive. The submarine's getting ready to dive. Whatever it was pretty intense. It was cool. I say they should figure out how they did that so they can do it again and just spring that every now and then to keep everybody awake. But you, there we go. You guys have a good day, afternoon, evening, night, whatever it is, wherever you are. I'm Steve Stockton. I love you all. Mwah! And I am out of here. I'll see you on Friday for the morning show. Have a good day, everybody. Let's all go ahead.
This one goes out to all you Dezomba friends, the Z Horde. We want you to know just how much we love you.
Shout out to Ophelia Noctis, creepy clown girl, dark carnival got this. A local nightmare, it's so amazing. Puerto Rican Jose's entertaining. Dark waters, dog man is twisted. Asia 1994, really gifted. Dustin Flemings, stronger than the rock. Hellfire's out here making everything hot. Yeah. Braidum 23 of is a G. We're kryptonites down, Kitty's family. Now there are times when we all need gore. Danny Martians in the house, never know what's in store. Mandy Mortem is legit and a queen. Gothic Rose enchanting, she's on the scene. 13 past midnight, things that go bump in the night. Gory B, horror addicts are out of sight. Big ups to the late horror show. Emily's Adventures in Horrorland, here we go. And you know we gotta keep them dice rolling. MD Who Entertainment, she's been chosen. Give it up for the evil outcast. Swedish mom is dope, yo, you know she got class. So if you get bad vibes from storytelling, then these monsters in my mind will leave you yelling. You see, we all about hearing stranger stories on the creeps. So sweet, she really got love for me. Penny tails up, narrating for the win. Queenie Tade amazing, but real dark and grim. The Mentor Centaurs, Flickathon, Swamp Dwellers. Scolded 22, they be our fellas. Anime Atome, Time We Lives, our fantastic panic deep. Paranormal history, great graphics. What's up, Bullis Greedia? I meant CP. I'm gonna get so bent with nefarious TV. Slumberies, art of morbid. Cap 7, truly salmon. And we can never forget about Karen. 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 Karen.
Viewer discretion advised.